You're looking at a 2K weatherproof camera with pan and tilt functionality, with 24/7 recording capability, with a solar panel that can what was that? What? A 2K pan and tilt camera that can be powered by the sun? I'm gonna make that explode again. So sucker, this idiot. Yeah, you're still watching. I'm watching ironically, because your missus is fit. Sorry, where was I? Oh yeah. Thanks to EZVIZ for sponsoring today's video and for sending me their CB8 solar-powered 2K outdoor pan and tilt camera and their solar panel. This thing has the largest capacity battery of any outdoor pan and tilt camera on the market. At 10,400 milliamps, it boasts a 210-day battery life even before you've stuck a solar panel in it. And because it's EZVIZ, it does a fantastic job of recognizing human beings, as opposed to, oh, I don't know, cats' arses. Cat's arse joke again. Here we go. Award ceremony. Of course. Oh, I am watching this garbage. The CB8 also has Google Home and She That Should Not Be Named support, so that I can do things like this.
Get out of my garden, you slag!
There is a wanker in the garden. Okay.
And I'll tell you how I did that later on in the episode. Did that work? That baited you in? Is that good bait? Have you been baited by the master? Have you been master? I'm not doing it. I keep doing this joke and I've had so many complaints now and they've just ruined it for everybody because it's embarrassing, you know? Every time I kind of go to do this joke, they're in my head going, stop doing the same joke every week. You know what they can do, don't you? They can go and masturbate. The spinny exorcist head on this thing does a 340-degree pan and a 65-degree tilt, and is immediately responsive when being controlled via the app. It also has AI tracking, which is quite unusual for an outdoor pan and tilt camera, and automated custom voice alerts that will scare the baby Jesus out of anyone that happens to trigger them.
Get out of my garden, you slag!
Always use a Cockney accent when trying to sound hard. Because, well, you know.
Please, could I be an awful bore and ask you to leave, old chap? It's just that having an intruder in my garden tends to make me wet my bed.
Not quite as effective at making them leave. First things first then, the alarm on this thing is preposterously loud. Do not test it inside your house whilst your missus is on a phone call with her boss downstairs. Shall I press that? Holy f***! Stop! Stop it! Shut up! Oh. This thing also has a security light on it, which you can have flash as part of your abusive Cockney yellings, or you can use it as a proper security light that comes on for a set period of time when motion is detected, just at nighttime. And this light is fantastically bright. It's actually solved a bit of a personal problem for me because I've always wanted a security light out there, but haven't been able to wire one in because bad at DIY. Hello, Paul from the future here. I've just been informed by EZVIZ that this is not what the security light is meant for. It's not supposed to come on for a set period and then go off like a normal security light would. It's apparently supposed to stay on all night long whilst it's dark. I found this out the hard way when I found the battery completely and totally dead the next day. I've asked EZVIZ to change this. It seems to me to be a bit of a missed opportunity and a slightly silly way of implementing it. You will find this is only valuable to you if you intend to wire this into the mains. If you connect it to your solar panel, it will still just chew through the battery overnight. I'll let him get back to it. Any kind of audible alarm tone can be set for a specific time of the day, so it'll only happen overnight. It won't happen every time you put your washing out. And you've got two-way talk as well. So if you're feeling like having a civilized debate with your burglars about the intricacies of burglary, well, then that will sound like this.
Hello, homeowner. I'm here to burglarise your house.
Hello, burglar. If you do, I will insert a dirty traffic cone into the secret parts of your body.
I always find jokes are funnier if you leave that little bit to the imagination. That little bit.
He's talking about his arsehole!
And the final feature of this camera is its extreme operating temperatures. I know you Americans and Canadians often ask me about operating temperatures, and as an Englishman I couldn't give a toss. Because in this country, the weather is so bland, it never actually matters. Today's forecast is bland. There's some bland pushing in from the east, a little bit more bland pushing in from the west. Today's forecast overall for the country, bland. Tomorrow's forecast, however, bland. Because you Americans have weather that ranges from sitting on the surface of the sun to colder than a witch's tit, you'll be pleased to know that the operating temperatures for this camera are anything from -20 to +50 degrees Celsius. Notification speed on this camera will vary depending on whether or not you have it plugged into the mains, or a solar panel, or have it running on battery. If it's running solely on battery, it takes about 11 seconds to get a notification through, and that's about average for a battery-powered camera. If, however, you plug it into a solar panel or the mains, you'll find the notification speed is 5 seconds, and that's because the camera doesn't have to wake up from hibernation. And finally, human tracking, which is just as creepy as it is on any other camera I've tried. It's not perfect. Just like all of the human tracking software, you can outrun it if you leg it. But it does return back to its initial position very quickly, and between this and the whole automated voice thing, this camera's actually pretty bloody terrifying.
Get out of my garden, you slag!
The response time for She That Should Not Be Named is among the top out of all of the cameras I've tried. It's really quick, and it actually makes the Echo Show worth owning. You can also have a back and forth conversation via the Echo Show by pressing the little mic button, which is unusual for these cameras. The image quality isn't the best I've ever seen, but it's also not the worst. At least it's not a Ring camera. You realise, of course, that a Ring camera is something a proctologist uses. Think about it. It's mounted higher up than any of the other cameras I've tried, so it's hard to compare quality. But what I will say is that it's adequate enough for my needs that it's staying in place. There is some bleaching in places in both the black and white night vision, and the color night vision mode also that relies on the security light. But in daylight, you can read this sign from all the way at the end of the garden, which is very subtly and subliminally telling you to do something. Subscribe. Do it. Please do it. Please do it. Right there. I'm not going to take you through the setup process because it really was just a case of scanning a barcode and then very professionally screwing it to my wall. Don't call me one screw Hibbert for nothing. Hello? Yes, he's talking about screwing again. It's disgusting. So what we'll talk about instead is how I created the automation that warned me there was a wanker in the garden and showed me the feed on my Echo Show automatically. I've used an IKEA ZIGBEE motion sensor to start this routine because they're actually IP44 weatherproof. I have it paired to Home Assistant, but you could use SmartThings or IKEA's own hub, and the motion sensor is triggering an Alexa routine, which simply shows the feed on my Echo Show and makes an announcement. On top of this, I've used the camera's own built-in functionality to automatically play a message to a potential intruder whenever motion is detected after a certain time of night.
Get out of my garden, you slag!
And now for the elephant in the room. I don't know how fair this is on EZVIZ because I'm not entirely sure what the problem is. In order to do this demonstration for you today, I've had to squeeze my wireless mesh point right up against the camera to get it to actually work. For some reason, I take it like even a little bit away from my Wi-Fi hotspot, it fails miserably. I have seen other reviewers that don't have this problem, and I think the camera I have is probably damaged in some way. EZVIZ are sending me a replacement camera for me to try, and they think this is almost certainly going to solve the problem. If it does, I'm going to let you know in the description that it fixed it. I can't personally get RTSP working. I've messaged EZVIZ and asked them if they know why. Perhaps it's not available on this camera. It normally is on other EZVIZ cameras, and so as soon as I have an answer for you, I shall let you know in the description. I also can't get Home Assistant to show me the feed. Home Assistant does work from the perspective of controlling like the light on the camera or listening out for motion requests on the camera. I just can't load the feed up in Home Assistant. Aside from that, the only other thing is that the cloud storage isn't exactly the cheapest on the market. I've said this about EZVIZ before, but the camera does take a 250GB SD card, which is plenty of room. The burglar would have to be pretty brazen to climb a ladder specifically to nick the camera and take the footage. They're more likely to just stick a mask on. I honestly wouldn't worry about it. This is a beautiful camera. I absolutely love the thing. At £150, I'm blown away at just how many features they've managed to squeeze into this thing. You have to bear in mind, this is a PTZ camera with a security light on it that is battery powered, can be powered by a solar panel, and has accurate AI tracking and custom voice alerts. Time will tell how good the solar panel is. We have had a ridiculous spell of sunshine this week, but the numbers have undeniably been going up despite the rigorous testing. I've been using this thing constantly, and the numbers are still going up. That's a pretty good sign. If you're interested in buying this camera, as usual, there are links in the description as to where you can pick one up. In the meantime, I hope you've enjoyed today's video, and if you have, please give it a thumbs up. That will tell YouTube's algorithms it was a good video, and more people should see it. If you want to see some more of this guy, hit that subscribe button and ding that bell. If you ding the bell, it lets YouTube know that you want to be notified when I upload videos. These incredible people, I say it every week, and I say every week that I say it every week, but these guys are my patrons from Patreon, and without them, I would still be in a call center. If you want to be one of those incredible people, you can do that at either PayPal if you want to buy me a one-off beer, or Patreon if you want to do this on a regular basis. These are my Facebooks and my Twitters and my Instagrams and my TikToks too. Come and hang out there and we can be best friends. See you next time. So I've reached out to EZVIZ and asked them why. As soon as I a solar panel? Oh shit! Rubbish acting. 2K what? The socky no.